Do you ever get the feeling that people sometimes give you the impression that you're wasting their time, even though you've gone there spending money as a customer? So let me get this right. Every year, thousands, if not millions of people spend thousands of pounds seeking the sun, going to Florida, going to Greece, going to Spain, going to the south of France, going to California, going to the Middle East, going to the desert, seeking the sun, seeking the heat. We're on day one of a 2-day heat wave, and it's Armageddon. It's as though the world's going to blow up. I can't figure it out. I get it. It's warm. It's hot. It's uncomfortable. But bloody hell. It's summer. Get over it. Use your common sense. I know you can't sit out in the sun, but, well, most of you won't be able to sit out in the me as well, sunbathing. You know what I've just done now? I've no work today, but I've got a couple of jobs to do on the truck. So I've come in work. The sun was shining through the windscreen when I got in the truck. Do you know what I've done? I've turned it around so the sun's behind me. So now I'm sat in the shade with the windows open, with a cool breeze blowing through the cab. Not sat here with the aircon on or anything. We live on an island. There's always going to be that. I say always. Most of the time there's always going to be a cool breeze, especially if you're in the shade. It's not like being in the Nevada, Arizona, New Mexico desert where the breeze is like a hairdryer in your face, hot. So anyway, I've come in this morning. I'm just gonna, depending on how it goes, film a bit of today and a bit of tomorrow, because tomorrow's supposed to be hotter than today. Just to see how stupid it gets. Personally, I love it. I love the hot weather, and like I say, sometimes it is uncomfortable, but it is summer. And I know it's a record temperature, but it's a record temperature 1 degree higher than the highest temperature last year. So you'll not even notice the difference. And I get it, if you work indoors and you're in an office and you've not got aircon and the sun's beating through your window, I get it. And I can't believe the amount of people who've got today off work. Certain jobs, slightly understandable, but as long as you use your common sense, you'd be right. Just work a bit slower, drink loads of water. Thing is, if I've got to tell you those things, where you know, you shouldn't need telling. It's just common sense, isn't it? Like most things in life, use your common sense and you'll get by. I'm going to be working out in it today, doing some jobs on the truck. But like I say, I've turned the truck round, so the part of the truck I'm going to be working on is in the shade. So my plan today, it's Monday, I didn't arrange any work today because I've recently renewed my ADR hazardous goods licence. The only reason for the renewal, it was due to expire, and you've got to renew it every 5 years. So 5 years ago, did the course when I was freelancing. You know, because it's another tick in the box, especially if you're self-employed, if you're freelancing, whatever you're doing, the more things that you're capable of doing, the more likely it is you are to get work. So at the time I was freelancing, I had my ADR, I could do the Moffat, I had my obviously my class 2 and my class 1. I'd had experience driving wagon and drags and this, that and the other, fridges, whatever, the whole thing. So if you're looking for a driver and you see all them ticks, those ticks next to someone's name, you think, all right, yeah, well, there we go, we've got a Moffat and a flatbed. Oh yeah, he'll do. We've got a Moffat and a curtain cider. Oh, we've got a fridge, we've got an hazardous load, da 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 da. So prior to buying the truck, it came in useful. Well, everything came in useful other than the ADR, because I never actually got to do it. But since buying this truck, I've now decided to offer that as an option, because I've been, you know, hands up, I've been quiet for a few weeks. I've always had the ADR qualification, so I thought, right, well, now I've got the truck, I may as well get the truck ready, renew the ADR, because remember, when you're running a business, it's all about investing. Nothing, if you're spending money on the business, it's an investment in the business. Yeah, it's expensive, it's a few hundred quid. You've got to do the week's course at like 700 quid, you know, whatever it is. You can do each individual module depending on what you carry, or you can just you can do the, like me, I did the whole thing, tanks and packages. I don't need the tankers, but I did the whole thing, because another advantage is it all goes towards your driver's CPC, each module. So I think it's like each day is a separate module. There's a couple of days that are split into two, so I don't know whether they're classed as two separate modules, but it all goes towards your CPC as well. So that's an added advantage. So now I've got, would it be 28 hours CPC? I can't quite remember. So anyway, so it's a 6, 7, 500, 800, whatever the training providers charge. So I've renewed that, so that's an expense. That week, obviously, I wasn't working, so no money was coming in. So it cost me a lot more than the cost of the course, because I wasn't earning at the same time. Right, then I've had to increase the insurance on the truck. I'm not telling you what it is, but it's 50% increase on my previous year's premium to carry the hazardous goods. And I've had to buy the stuff that you need on the truck to make you compliant. So you're talking the orange rectangles, front and rear, fire extinguishers, fire extinguisher boxes, the fitting kit so you can fit the fire extinguisher to the vehicle. You've got the high visibility stuff, you've got the warning triangles, flashing lights, eye wash, gloves, anti-spill, either a container or the bund, is it the bunding? I can't remember what it's called. You know, the big sausage, the big sausages that help contain any spill. I don't know whether I've said the overalls, the suit, the breathing apparatus. So I've had to invest in all that as well. Now, it's cost me a few quid, but I'm not looking at it as though I've wasted a few quid. It's an investment, just like buying the vehicle and, you know, doing things, getting more qualifications that give you a tick next to your name. The other thing, a few years ago, I mean, I originally planned on buying a truck back in 2007, so I did my transport manager's CPC. Then we had the worldwide recession. The place I was at the time went to a 4-day week. People were losing the job, so it was a bad time to get into it. So even though I got the qualification, I never did anything with it. So I've had to go on a refresher now that I'm working, so I'm the named transport manager, and again it costs a few quid to do the transport manager's CPC. Then you've got to pay, well, I had to pay to do the refresher, but that's an investment in me, and now my company don't have to pay an outside source so much a month or so much a week, so much a year to be the nominated transport manager. It's paid for now, and I'm the nominated transport manager. Other people who don't get the qualification will pay someone, but they're constantly paying out someone else to do it. So never think when you're running your own business, when you're buying things, it's a waste. Oh no, I've got to buy this, I've got to buy that. Sometimes, you know, if you're buying, I don't know, light bars and all that kind of things for your truck, that's just a personal preference, isn't it? But you really, you need to invest in the business first before you start adding all that kind of stuff. So yeah, so again, I've waffled on again. So, but today's job is to fit the fire extinguisher to the chassis of the truck. Right, so first of all, I fitted this. Obviously I didn't film it. So for those that don't know, that indicates that the vehicle's carrying a hazardous load, right? If you ever hire a vehicle that's got one of these on and you're not carrying hazardous goods, or well, if you're driving any vehicle with one of these on and you're not carrying hazardous goods, never drive with it like that. Never ever. It's a big no-no, because if you get pulled, you'll get prosecuted. Because if you imagine if you have an accident and you go down a grass banking offside at motorway and someone rings in and says, oh, I've seen a truck that's crashed and it's displaying hazardous goods marker boards, you're going to get all the fire response out, you're going to get all them, because they all think you're carrying hazardous goods when you might just be empty. So let's see, so we've got the hazardous marker boards. I'll just show you, there's one round the back. Can you see we're on the sunny side here and I'm going to be working on the other side in a minute. One on the back. Now I got, see, so that could come off. But when I bought the kit, I'm not too sure whether I actually need it. If you look up there, you see that spade comes with a kit and it's a anti-static, so it's all plastic, so it doesn't spark. But that came with the kit. So wheel chock under that side. Now with this being a rigid, I only need one wheel chock, but I got two. There were a guy selling them on Facebook, so I got the two. If you're in an Arctic, you need two, one for your trailer, one for your tractor unit. Right, so this is the box for the fire extinguisher, and I'm just debating where to put it. I'm just thinking whether to put it under there to the chassis, or like a lot of people tend to put them on the back, but I'll have to see, because if you look, there's lots of holes in the chassis, so I'm going to have to marry up the fitting kit to some of these holes under the chassis. I don't know if you can see. And this is the fitting kit. And there's not a lot to it, but there's no, I thought there'd have been some kind of fitting instructions, some numbers written on it in a bit. But originally, let's just walk across to the car. Oh, I got sent this fire extinguisher, this box without a fitting kit, and to be honest with you, I think this would be ideal on a trailer, because you can fasten it upright like that to the legs. But because mine's going to have to go under the chassis, I think it's a bit, I don't want to, I'm thinking if I put it upright like that, well, I can't find a fixing kit for it anyway, but if it went upright like that, I'm just paranoid about it not grounding out, but getting hit by something, because I'm sure it'll need to stay upright to be able to open it and get the fire extinguisher out. So I'd rather have the other type, or just, if you can see, so the upright one, you know, it'd be on the chassis and then hanging down. I think personally hanging down too much. Like I say, I can't get a fitting kit for it, so I think that kind of thing would probably do. So I'm going to leave it for now, excuse me, and then suss out where I can put it. Right, as usual, nothing goes to plan. I've got this fitting kit for this fire extinguisher. Doesn't come with any kind of instructions. It is pretty straightforward, and I think I've sussed out how it goes on, but I'm going to have to get some holes drilled to fit it. And the washers and the bolts that come with it are just enough to fasten the fitting kit to the box. Doesn't come with anything then to fit it to the truck. I'll show you what I mean, just a sec. Right, so there's the box, and if you look, I don't know whether you can see, they've put some guide holes there, what is it, there and there. I've bolted these two together, that one and that one, and those holes do line up. Hang on, let's see, I can only look with one hand here. If you see those, well, there's 3 holes in that bracket. That one, where are we? That one, and that one. So they line up with that, so I'm thinking they bolt to there, right? So they've supplied the bolts to fasten these together. And I've got another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bolts there to bolt that to that. But now I need to bolt this section to the truck. So if you imagine the fire extinguisher box hanging underneath, this now needs bolting to the chassis. But what I want to do is 3 across the top, let's say up there, and then 3 against the back. So I'm going to need another 3 and holes drilling, so I think what I might do is, rather than faff, because I think this gap's going to be too big, is get another bracket or something across here, drill some holes. I'm not going to drill it, I'm just going to nip round. So there's an engineering place round the corner, so I might just nip round and get them to do it. So, but like I say, I've nothing booked today, so rather than sit at home in the garden enjoying this sun, I'm getting these jobs done. So my time's not being wasted, like I say, my time's being invested in being able to tick another box, which will enable me to get more work. Oh, my skin's coming off. Oof. Be prepared. Common sense. Sun cream. Put your hat on so when you're driving the sun's not shining on your face and giving you skin cancer on your face. Right. Let's see how temperature. 29 degrees at the moment. We're aiming for about 35, mid 30s today. I think tomorrow's the hottest day. It's supposed to be 40, but we'll see. Right, let's get going. Do you ever get the feeling that people sometimes give you the impression that you're wasting their time, even though you've gone there spending money as a customer? Right, so that's the impression I got when I went to the engineering place I went to. So I've ended up coming away with a couple of brackets and some nuts and bolts. I'll just give you an idea. We're now on the following day because, well, I'll explain all later. So obviously you saw that yesterday. You saw the brackets. Now I've been given these additional brackets. There's two of those and some additional nuts and bolts. I'm going to go ahead now because this gap's too narrow for the too wide for the fitting kit that was sent. The new brackets are going to go from there to there and from across, and then I can bolt to those two brackets. So give us a while, I'll get that done, and then I'll explain what happened yesterday. Right, brackets on box. These brackets, obviously, that was fastened to that before, came with these little, I think they're 13 millis, to fasten that bracket to that red box. But instead, I've got some of those bigger ones, as you can see. They're there. I don't really get enough, so I've used the bigger ones on either end. So I've got these here, 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 and the ones they sent, the smaller ones, I've just utilised them, put them in the middle. So the next step, I think, is to measure these brackets and put them up there. Minor rethink. I've actually put all the hanging bracket on now. I don't know whether that's right or not. I think it's right, but that's the way I've done it. Because what I'm going to do now, these brackets, I'm going to fit. There's already a hole there, so I'm going to probably start, up there somewhere across, as you can see from that, in essence from there, and then fasten the bracket to it. So when it's fitted, if you imagine this bit fastened to the truck when my fingers were wobbling, and then they're going to go through there and fasten on. So let's get that done now. Right, well, I've eventually done it, and what a faff. It would have been a lot easier if I had a workshop with all the correct tools and all the correct nuts and bolts and all that kind of thing, like most of you probably have a workshop where you work or take your stuff round to a garage. So I've been faffing trying to drill with masonry bits on my drill, and it just took ages. Luckily enough, I've had a walk round, found one of the lads, he's lent me some of his drill bits, so I managed to do it all in the end. So yeah, so yesterday, that's more skin. So yesterday I went round to the engineering firm, showed them everything that I had, and asked if they could fit it. I said because he had no work on, I'd be willing to hang around all afternoon in the yard until one of the guys became free. Because I knew faffing about with me and my drill and wrong drill bits, probably wrong nuts and bolts and all that kind of thing, I'd have been much better just going somewhere where they do this type of thing all the time. So in and out they'd have had it done. So spoke to a guy, well, initially stood in reception for about 15 minutes being completely ignored, until I walked into an office and made my presence felt, and then someone came out, he had a look. Like I say, I explained I wanted them to fit the kit. He said, right, leave it with me, I'll go and get one of the lads. One of the lads came out, he had a look at it, wandered off, came back with a bag full of nuts and bolts and a couple of brackets. Didn't go into too much detail, but just said, right, what you need to do is put that there, drill there, drill there, drill there, ER, go in there and pay. Right, well, I'm not going to force you to take me money for fitting it, so I just took the stuff and left. So got back here, and it's a lot easier doing things like this when you're doing them yourself. If you work in a garage and you're given that task to do, you're on the clock, aren't you? You can't take too long about it, and you might cut corners. Well, you shouldn't cut corners, but some people cut corners just so the job gets done. The fact I was doing it on my own truck, it took a lot longer than it would have done if I'd have took it somewhere else, because the job involved, well, I decided the fixing kit was too flimsy. I'm thinking there's probably 6 30mm bolts, little ones, little washers, holding a 9kg fire extinguisher to the back of the truck. So it's travelling a lot, it's bouncing around, the box is made of plastic, you've got little washers, so if there's a crack inside the plastic, it's likely to go through the box, and then, you know, catastrophe. You don't want a fire extinguisher coming up as you're driving down the road. So I decided to just utilise the 2 brackets I got from the engineering place, but the thing is I had to fasten them to the box, drill holes, put the nuts and bolts in, then put it up to the chassis, well, to the like the underrun, the bottom of the floor, line everything up, mark things up, then drill, then marry it up again, then take the box off the bars because you couldn't bolt the brackets up. So it was one of those things where you had to like put 2 or 3 bolts on, fasten it somewhere, take them off, do something else, refasten, take them off, walk into this factory where I'm parked, borrow a drill, come back out, marry it up, do this, do that, then change slightly change your mind. There was washers inside in the box with the bolts, but I just decided to utilise the part of the fitting kit to give it more rigidity. I'll show you now, just a second. So that's the remainder of the original fitting kit, and obviously I just didn't want these little bolts being responsible for holding 9kg of fire extinguisher bouncing down the road. So what I've done, I've eventually done it like this. So as you can see, there's this cross member with this big 17mm bolt. There's another big 17 nut and bolt over there. There's a 17mm nut and bolt here, and then there's one down there. And then look inside there, and I've utilised the rails off the fitting kit up here rather than just using a nut and bolt, and they're the 17mm ones as well. And the other thing was with the fitting kit, the way it was positioned, because it pointed, the back of it pointed down, you know, at an angle, and the front of it I couldn't open the lid. So I don't even know why I'm going into so much detail talking to you about this. But I just thought I'd show you how sometimes spend my day. So hopefully that'll do now. So all the other ADR compliant stuff is in my bag. And here, in my ADR kit, I'm not going to get it out, but that's got everything. Whoops. That's got everything in it you need. So that's got my gloves in hard hat. gloves, hard hat, mask, eye wash, warning triangles, flashing lights, eye wash, first aid kit, all the stuff you need. And I'm going to keep everything in there. Rather than put one thing in a door pocket, one thing in a storage locker, one thing in another storage locker, one thing under the bed. Everything's going to stay in that bag, because in the event of an emergency you can just take the bag out and you know everything's in it. And even if you get even if the DVSA pull you over for a roadside check, all you need to do is pull your bag out. It's a brand new bag, everything in it's brand new, and you can just show them everything. Because if not, you're going to be rooting around your cab trying to find things, and like most times when you're looking for something in your cab, you probably can't find it. So now we are good to go and we're coming to the end of day 2, and that's all I've done. I've not been here doing 2 full days. I've probably come in with mid-morning to get the jobs done and finishing mid to late afternoon. I don't know what else to tell you. I'm just going to tidy up now. It's about 3:30, 4 o'clock, and I'll probably go home, have a shower, because I've been working in this heat all day outside, rolling around, covered in bits of metal and things. So I'll probably go home, have a shower, come in tomorrow morning, which is Wednesday, get focused and get cracking. I know what you're thinking. What a waste of time. What a waste of a video. But there's a reason behind it. Obviously that's not something that I'd film and upload just for the sake of doing it. There's a reason for it, and the reason is, in this line of work, it's not just about the driving. Like I said before, there's lots of other things that you've got to bear in mind, and you've got to think to yourself, if you're thinking about going down this road of getting your own vehicle, you've got to think of all the other things that come with it. I know I've mentioned certain things before regarding even the invoicing, looking for work, you know, staying compliant and legal and all the rest of it. And at the beginning of the video I mentioned that I had been quiet. I've been quiet for quite a while, and I'm not saying I've been parked up every day. I have had work, and the work that I've had's covered my costs, so and it's something I was prepared for, so that isn't an issue. But like I say, the tick box exercise to give you more options is the reason I've done this video. Because even something as simple as fitting a fire extinguisher could, well, in my case, can drag on and drag on. So after it was fit, after I'd fitted it, I'd gone home. That was Tuesday. Now, normally on a Thursday, I do a dedicated run for someone, and it involves driving from, if you imagine a triangle, from Stoke-on-Trent to Uttoxeter and down Coventry. I do a regular run every Thursday that basically start in one point, do the triangle and finish where I started. So this morning, being Wednesday, came in nice and early, obviously up in the northwest, and managed to get a job straight away from the northwest down to Uttoxeter, which landed me nice for Thursday. I'm currently parked at ADS, Stoke-on-Trent, so if you watch that last video, that's where I am now. So during the day today, because the thing is, never make false promises, never tell people you can do things when you can't do them. perfect example. Don't ring round like me. I didn't ring round and tell people I'm going to be ADR compliant and without a date, or I didn't ring round saying, right, I'm ADR compliant, until I knew 100% I'd be able to do it. So previous today, I rang round to let people know that was my intention, you know, and rightly so. They said, right, well, when you're up and running, give us a ring back and we'll see what we can do. So in the process of doing today's work, I rang around 5 people, let them know I was good to go, so they've all made a note of it. And when I was on the phone to one of them, managed to get a full week's work for next week, just due to the fact I'm ADR compliant now. So someone's promised me a full week's work. So all the faffing about yesterday, all the huffing and puffing and crawling around under the truck in our heat wave, has kind of paid off. Because like I say, I have been relatively quiet. I've not done a full week for 2 or 3 months. I've done 3 days one week. I've done 4 days another week. Other days I'll have done a Monday, a Wednesday and a Friday. Well, a Thursday and a Friday. Other weeks I've gone in on a Monday. There's been no work, but I've constantly been doing something. And if you're not willing to, let's say, still work on the days you're not physically driving, this isn't for you. You've always got to be thinking of ticking the boxes. I mean, we all started, well, from my point of view, and probably people of a similar age, we all watched Convoy and we all thought, oh yeah, I want to be a truck driver, right? Not all of you. Some might have watched Smokey and the Bandit and thought, I want to be a truck driver, right? So you and then you get that interest, because without wanting to stereotype the difference between a trucker and a truck driver, some people like myself do have an interest in the business, in how it all works, an interest in the vehicles, an interest in the logistics of it, an interest in just basically on how the whole thing runs. And other people just want to go in work in the morning, clock on, drive the truck, come home, clock off, go home, and all done. And that's if that's what you do, that's fair enough. You might not even know what truck you drove today, because you're just not bothered. And if that's you, fair enough. But if that is you, this job, having your own motor, isn't for you. Because all you're doing is you just want to earn a wage to pay your bills, and I get that, and that's fair enough. So my point is, if you have a genuine interest and you want to do it, it's not just a case of going out, buying a truck, and all of a sudden the phone will ring and you'll get work and it'll be a bed of roses. You've got to think of everything else. You've got to think of breakdowns. You've got to do keep repeating the tick box exercise. But as a result of ticking a box yesterday and becoming ADR compliant, straight away I've got a week's full of work for next week. So even though the faffing I filmed before with a fire extinguisher was completely irrelevant to, you know, any YouTube video, I just wanted to put the point across that on your days where you're not working, there's always something to do. Don't treat it as, oh, I've no work today, I'll just go home and sunbathe. You've got to put the work in. And like I said, I didn't do 2 full days. All in all, I probably didn't put a day's worth of work into the 2 days, due to the time I started, due to the pace at which I work sometimes. Because I'm a believer, if you want a job doing, you do it right. So I've fitted that kit to the best of my abilities, using the the heavier duty products to fit it for my own peace of mind, knowing it's bang on. So you've got to prepare. You've got to be prepared to take the rough with the smooth. And even on your days off, well, even on the days where you may not have a job, you're always doing something to invest in yourself and invest in your business. Because if you don't, you're going to fail. So it's all about putting the work in, whether that's prior to starting up. Once you've started, you've constantly got to, I'm not saying you constantly got to be on the ball all the time, but you've got to be looking for opportunities. And I can't stress enough, if you get your own vehicle, all of a sudden by magic, the phone ain't going to start ringing with people throwing money at you to move loads. You're the one that's got to go out to find that work. Excuse me. You've got to go out and sell yourself. So again, if you find you're having a quiet day, nip round the local industrial estate, get some cards printed, go knocking on doors. Go in, ask to see a transport manager or the owner of the company or whatever it is. Go in. Here's my card, I'm based around the corner, or I'm based locally, whatever it may be. I appreciate you might already use a particular transport provider, and I'm not here to nick work off them, but if they ever let you down, feel free to give me a call, because that's the other thing. I don't believe in undercutting anyone else or nicking work. I think we're all we're in it together. That's a big no-no as far as I'm concerned. So even if any local businesses know of you, they might not even be in contact for months, a year, but your card's always in their top drawer. And then the time that the transport providers start messing up, doing late deliveries, basically giving a bad service, they're going to think, oh yeah, I've got this card. Let's give this guy a try, because then you're not taking work off someone else directly. It's their own fault because they've not provided the services of which they're being paid. When you're moving other people's stuff, they're paying you to move their stuff safely and keep their customers happy. If they promise a 4 a.m. delivery tomorrow morning in Glasgow and they can rely on you to do it, and well, they can even rely on you to turn up on time to collect the goods, you're going to get the work. But I think too many people think it is easy, and you've got to work at it. Even if you are really, really busy and you've had a great week and you're on your way home and it's Friday afternoon and another job comes in, and then if you're an employed driver, you're thinking, oh no, I just want to go home and afternoon finish on a Friday and go home, because I was the same, everyone's the same. But when you're running your own vehicle, you don't turn that. Obviously, if it's not financially viable, you're not going to do it. You're not going to turn around and go back down to, well, personally on a Friday afternoon, if I'm nearly home, I'm not going to turn around and go back down to Kent with a load and spend the weekend down there. I will go home. But if any jobs come in, if I'm driving over from Birmingham, job comes in at 3 o'clock because somebody wants something collecting in, I don't know, Middlewich and taking up to Carlisle, I'll be on it. Because those jobs, like I say, you might be having a good week, but those jobs kind of subsidise other times when you're quiet. So when it is busy and people are offering you work, you do it. Sometimes you'll get all the crap. There'll be some jobs out there that there'll be a fleet of 10 trucks owned by a small firm or a small haulage company, and there'll be one or two really crappy jobs that their drivers don't like doing, and it's Friday afternoon and all the rest of it, and you end up getting lumped with it. But it doesn't matter, because you've been paid to do it, and you take the rough with the smooth. So you've got to be prepared sometimes to do the jobs you don't want to do. You've got to be prepared to work when you're not driving. You've got to be prepared to, because you're selling yourself, you're selling your business to someone. So you've got, and that's the way you generate work further down the line. And, I think some people think it's, and again, repeating myself, you buy a truck, you start trading on day one and you expect the phone to ring. Well, it doesn't. And the fact that it doesn't means from the off you're losing money, because if you're sat there not getting any work, you're losing money, because your vehicle, you've got monthly payments going out, whether it's the cost of the truck, your wage, insurance, tax, all the rest of it. You've got to cover it somehow. So what you need to do is work, getting a job when you can, and then the days where you're not working, driving, you're still investing in yourself and let's say your company, by doing other work. And that's what you've got to do. You've got to put yourself out there, and then do the job right anywhere, and then that generates more work from that same customer. Imagine the first day you're going for a new customer. You're allocated your load, it's going from A to B. You turn up late, and even something simple as you don't strap the load down right, and you get pulled. Delays you even more. Ends up you might get a prohibition. It could be anything. So then that customer doesn't get their delivery because you couldn't be bothered throwing a couple of straps over. So you've got to be 100% compliant with everything. I know a lot of you will think it's OTT, certain rules and regulations, and we all know they are OTT, even health and safety regulations and all that, but it all depends where you are, what you're doing. But as long as you're compliant, you do what you say you're going to do, don't make false promises, work hard when the work's there, and when the work's not there, still work hard trying to generate the work and tick your boxes, you should be alright. But don't take my word for it. Only you can decide. Only you can decide whether or not you've got that work ethic. And to be honest with you, I didn't think I had. To a point. But when it's all on you, everything's on you. The truck's not going to drive itself. The invoices aren't going to get done by themselves. Payments aren't going to get done by themselves. Looking for work isn't going to get done by itself. You're the one that's responsible for everything. So you've got to bear that in mind. Absolutely, everything's on you. You wake up ill in the morning at home. Your truck's in the yard already loaded for that day. There's no I'll throw a sickie. You're in and you're out and you're doing it. And you've got to, and if you do, you will be rewarded for it. So just bear it in mind. It is a hard slog, but you've got to be focused and dedicated. I think dedicated is the right word, and it's not only in driving, is it? Ask any self-employed people who are successful at what they do, and they're dedicated to what they do, and they do it to the best of their abilities. And as a result, they're still trading and still generating work. So hopefully it'll continue, and hopefully next week it'll be the start of another little chapter, being able to transport hazardous goods. And if anyone's watching who does move hazardous goods, I'm kind of in the the norms of hazardous goods I can carry. I've not gone for the class 1 explosives, and I've not gone for the class 7 radioactives for obvious reasons. It's everything else. So on that, I'll leave it with you. Have a think about it. If it's for you, it's for you. If it's not, it's not. It's no great shakes. I'm just trying to drum it into your head that it isn't a bed of roses, and you've got to work hard. It's when you first start, it's more difficult, obviously, because you're in the process of generating work, getting your name out there, proving to people that you can be trusted and reliable. And then once you've got I don't know, half a dozen customers on board, they know they can trust you, and that work, when they have it, you'll be first on the list. So that'll do for now. We've survived the heat wave. The world didn't blow up. So let's just crack on. Cheerio. Oh, and sorry about the long-winded fire extinguisher video.